This four-part tutorial series focuses on Enterprise License Agreements, also known as ELAs. In this first tutorial, we will provide a general overview of ELAs. The second and third tutorials will describe when ELAs should be awarded, how to determine if it's the right solution for your requirement, and the process to put them in place. Finally, the fourth tutorial will provide guidance for those who are seeking to order or use software covered by an ELA. First, we will look at a definition of an enterprise license agreement. An ELA is a contractual right to use software for a group of people or computer devices defined by the buyer and the seller as an enterprise. The definition of the enterprise varies according to the circumstances. For example, it could include an entire company, government agency, or any subset of organizational boundaries that the seller and buyer agree to. While no two ELAs are exactly the same, the general framework of the software license terms can align with the standard terms that the DoD ESI has covered in its EULA tutorial series. When ELAs were first introduced, the definition or scope of an ELA typically covered one entire organization, agency, or service. With the advent of multiple services and agencies entering into combined ELAs, the definition of an ELA expanded to include Joint Enterprise License Agreements, or JELAs. You may also hear the term ESL, or Enterprise Software License, which is frequently associated with ELAs or JELAs. The terms ESL and ELA have the same meaning and are often used interchangeably. The key word in each term is enterprise. The definition of the enterprise is unique to each requirement. DoD ESI recommends that the definition in your contract be as broad as possible in order to meet your mission and not restrict the use of the software across the enterprise. You should not limit the description of the enterprise to specific positions or titles. You may indicate that all personnel who support the government's mission may use the software, sometimes limited to a specified quantity of licenses that are granted, as an example. Extensive requirements gathering and market research efforts are required to ensure that all organizations that will use the software are identified. Contract language should be included to protect you if you make changes to your program or organization name. Be sure to allow for the right to transfer licenses without additional cost, especially if team members move across the enterprise. When determining requirements, you should inventory the existing usage of a product and the future demand. It's also important to find out if the enterprise is growing, shrinking, or substantially changing over the next few years. This will help in your negotiation position so that you don't overbuy or underbuy the amount of licenses truly required. When developing requirements and designing the enterprise license, the use of a cross-functional team is critical. The team should include a contracting official, legal expert, technical expert, end users, and someone with financial budget authority. Software license experts and leadership are particularly crucial for the ELA to be beneficial to the government. When establishing requirements, you will need to define the type of license model to be used for an ELA. You may use one or many license models for the different products you need. This will be determined by the requirements. Many ELAs share a mixture of license types, such as user-based and processor-based license models. Please view the tutorial on license models on the ESI website for more information on licensing metrics and models. There is one additional type of ELA that is periodically used by software companies called an Unlimited Enterprise License Agreement. This type of agreement has all the attributes of ELAs with the addition of a provision that allows an organization to distribute an unlimited number of licenses during the term of the agreement. DoD ESI recommends that you exercise caution with this type of agreement. Some publishers may present this agreement as one that will never burden an organization with the requirement to count their licenses. However, it's possible that the publisher will require the enterprise to declare the total number of licenses utilized at some future point in time. This means the organization will eventually have to count licenses, which could have a significant impact on future maintenance cost, auditing methods, and license rights. This topic will be discussed in more detail in the second tutorial of this series. There are many advantages to an enterprise license agreement. In most circumstances, ELAs have been awarded to achieve efficiencies, enable clearer asset visibility, and reduce the costs to acquire, maintain, and manage software. Also, since maintenance is a large expense of software licenses, an ELA can include significant discounts in maintenance and 0% escalation or inflation for the life of the ELA. Execution of an ELA is a great opportunity to secure more favorable terms, conditions, and discounts that were not previously secured by the government. In addition, the government may find it more efficient to consolidate multiple license agreements into one enterprise license. From the publisher's perspective, some find it more efficient to manage one enterprise-wide license rather than many individual licenses within an organization. Receiving one check for an enterprise rather than many checks can help reduce costs. Serving one main organization for technical upgrades, resolving issues, and providing training can also be more efficient with the intent to pass along savings to the government. DoD ESI recommends consulting the DoD ESI Software Buyer's Guide and the Enterprise Software Licensing Guide and Checklist to assist with the ELA acquisition process. These items can be found on the ESI website. Please refer to Parts 2, 3, and 4 of this tutorial series on enterprise license agreements for more information.